Hello everyone and welcome back. As you can see, I have a exciting video ahead. It is a unboxing, but the box that it came in also had my address like plastered across the front. So I went ahead and took it out of the box. So this is the slightly less boxy unboxing. Oh, that might be loud as hell. All right, here we go. I've been waiting quite a while for this. I was wanting to pick one of these up, but I was almost wanting to wait to see if they did a Black Friday deal, which I'm almost positive they're not going to do given how new the OLED model is, and I don't want any of the previous models. So I just went ahead and pulled the trigger and bought it. I guess you just pull the tab on the bottom here. I'll try to do it quietly because it's the wee hours of the morning. That's about as quiet as it's gonna get. Yeah, I'm using natural lighting from the sun outside. All right. Oh, okay, it's got a little tag on there. I don't know if that's reusable. I don't want to just like cut right through it. You know what? If it is reusable, I'm just gonna cut through it anyway. I've been fiddling it for like 30 seconds and that's too long for me. All right, with that out of the way, let's crack into this bad boy. Oh, wrong way. Might help to zip it the proper way. Ooh, there it is. Ooh, this thing is bigger than I thought it would be. I will say, I was skeptical with the placement of the buttons, just because it's very unusual compared to the other placements of consoles, but I'm not gonna lie, already touching it, this feels better than the Switch. And the Switch is pretty good, but this level of movement in between the stick and the buttons is actually pretty insane. So I can definitely see how this will increase efficiency. Then over here we got the back, which, ooh, there's actually 2 paddles on each side, which is kind of crazy. I thought there was only going to be one if they did include one, because I know some of the Switch, like, one-piece controllers have like 1 paddle on the back. 2 is actually kind of insane. And obviously you can program them, I would imagine. So it's very similar to the way that the Xbox Series X controller, like the Elite controller that has the 2 back paddles, which I just so happen to have for reference. So you flip it over to the back there, got the little paddles on the back. This is actually kind of insane. I think all controllers going forward for me have to have back paddles because this has been a game changer. So yeah, already first impressions, very good feel to it. And I heard some people saying that it was heavy. I don't know who these people are, but it's literally, it's not heavy at all. I don't know what people are talking about. I guess they were saying that like over long periods of time, but I mean, if you hold a 1 pound weight for an hour, is it going to be heavy all of a sudden? Probably not. I don't want to criticize the gamers too much, but I feel like it might be, that kind of issue. They're not used to lifting things. But yeah, before I go any further, I'm going to immediately put on the screen protector that I bought for this, because as you can see, the screen is nice and crisp, very reflective. You can see my gamer chair in the corner there. So I want to keep it that way. All right, I've got the screen protector on now. Oh, it's going in and out of focus there. This thing does not want to keep focus. I think it's the reflection. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to keep trying to autofocus it here. I got the screen on now. As you can see, I put the SD card in the bottom there, so it is all ready to go. Going out of focus again. I don't know why it's like, I think it's a reflection that's messing with it. But yeah, this is a little bit of time from the last video. It's probably about 2 weeks after the first section of the footage of like actually unboxing it. So I've had plenty of time. I'm going to go ahead and power it on here. Get the nice little startup screen. Oh, I had it in sleep mode, never mind. No startup screen. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a few games on here. This will be coming after my Marvel's Rival video, obviously. And then we got a few of my games over here that I've been messing around with. Yeah, the general idea that I had is I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play a few games and then I'll come back and, I'll talk about my experience. And then I ended up playing this for like 2 weeks, so already off to a good start. But yeah, so far I will say this thing is pretty incredible, I'm not gonna lie. It lived up to a lot more than I thought it would be. As you can see, just by looking at it, it's pretty comparable to the Switch, but a little bit bigger. And then I feel like the ergonomics are definitely better on this thing too. Like I'll show you on the side view there. It keeps wanting to go out of focus whenever it's not showing the screen. But yeah, as you can see, there is a good amount of hand holds there to where, you can actually grip it correctly. So that's one thing I will say about the base Joy-Con controllers is that they're not super comfortable when playing in handheld mode, especially with the placement of the thumbsticks. Like this is pretty much literally perfect. I mean, I don't know how you could make this any better. And they also have the nice indent, as you can see on the controller there. So it's like you put your thumb in there. I don't like the concave one where it like comes out. That feels, it's the one that Nintendo uses, and I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer it like this when you can actually like rest your thumb in there. But yeah, I'll show off some of the games on this thing. I'm only going to show off a few just so I can like kind of give you an idea of how well it runs. But I'll probably do a more like in-depth review video. So I'm just going to show like maybe 2 Valve games and 2 non-Valve games to give you a good idea. All right, first up we got Portal 2 here, looking incredible as you would imagine, given that, you know, obviously it's a Valve game and also just the age of the product. But yeah, obviously it runs fantastic. I have it running, it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but I do have it running at 90 FPS. And actually, I just went to the settings and turned it down to 60 anyway, just in case there's flickering with the resolution difference, or frame difference, not resolution difference. But yeah, as you can see, looks fantastic, running at max settings, as you would imagine. Up to 90 FPS, very good, very well run. Pretty much all the Valve games are that way. Like, as you would imagine, given that this is a Valve console. It'd be kind of weird if these ran horribly. All right, now moving on to one of my favorite games of all time, which would be Left 4 Dead 2. As you can see, I've got it running at 60 here, looking nice and smooth. Peek out the door there. Yeah, I've got some mods running here. As you can see, I'm using the non-standard pistol. And then as far as my team goes, you got Vector from Resident Evil that I'm playing as from the best Resident Evil game. You've got Coach as, why am I blanking? Isaac from Dead Space. You, of course, have Rochelle as Chloe Price from Life is Strange. And then the most fitting character, you've got Ellis as Kermit the Frog. He definitely fits the art style of the game. Yeah, I've got a cast of characters here for sure. Got the choices here between the model, whatever you call this, from I think this is the one specifically from Modern Warfare 2, the one that everybody hated. Then you've got the SMG here. Yeah, as you can see, oh, Hunter right out of the gate. At least you get a little look at Vector there. He heals. Oh, there's a charger too. Oh, damn, Kermit got launched. Yeah, as you can see, I've got Vector there. I really have no affinity for this game. He just looks cool. That's really the only reason I'm playing as him. But yeah, as you can see, runs great using the back buttons or the back paddles for everything. So don't even have to take your finger off the triggers. Or in this case, take your finger off the thumbsticks. So yeah, you can do everything. You can shoot them. You can do all your good stuff. Reload using the back paddles. Very good. As I mentioned in my previous video, every console from this point on, their controllers should come with back paddles. Because it's absolutely game-changing that you can just sit there and keep looking around while you're reloading and just jump around if you want to. Hell, you can do whatever you want, actually. Yeah, you also have the option of using the trackpad, which I'm not a huge fan of, honestly. Like, I'll move over to the trackpad here. As you can see, like, it definitely allows for more pinpoint accuracy if you're good using the trackpad. And you can also do things that you can't do on a controller where it's like you can kind of like flick it a little bit. So I mean, if you're accurate, you can definitely make use of this. Like, as you can see, it definitely, you can see the idea. Like, it allows for more pinpoint aim. Like, if you're used to a mouse and keyboard, or if you're used to playing on like a laptop or something. I, however, am not, so I usually just use the controller. Ooh, the Halo battle rifle. All right. Definitely the gun that's supposed to be in this game. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one because I'm just going to end up playing Left 4 Dead here. All right, now moving on to the non-Valve games. You've got another one of my favorite franchises and game of all times. This one definitely, DMC5 is definitely a new standard for the series. It's a little bit hard to go back and play the other ones now that this one is just so damn perfect. But yeah, much like the 2 previous games, it's running at a solid 60, which this one was released, I think, when did this one come out? I think it was like 2021, if I had to guess. I'm not sure the exact release date. I should know that, though. I'm going to go with 2021. That seems right. But yeah, as you can see, everything is running smoothly. Got my combos popping off here very easily. You can definitely, it is very, very playable on this thing. Yeah, pretty much anything that you want to play, whether it's like a first-person shooter or a strategy game or a third-person like hack and slash like this one, this thing, it'll run it all. Oh, I don't have the roulette yet. Or I think it's shuffle forward, whatever that one's called. I don't have it unlocked. Show off some of my skills here. Get that baby up to S rank. Yeah, there we go. Watch this, pull him back. Oh, no, I killed him. There we go. Yeah, if you time it right, you can actually, like, pull them back with you. Like that. I killed him again. But yeah, you get the idea. It runs incredibly well on this thing. All right, now we're moving on to what is a genuinely pretty crazy development in modern gaming. We're going to start with Sony, as you can see, with Marvel's Spider-Man, that obviously came out originally on the PS4 and then remastered on the PS5, which, as you can see, running incredibly well. This is starting to be one of those games that you kind of have to run at 45 if you want a consistent frame rate. There are ways that you can like finagle it around to get 60, but this is like a good blend between visuals and frame rate. Like you can see sometimes there is like a little bit of stutter, but for the most part it is incredibly smooth at 45. Because this thing is a 90 hertz refresh rate, the screen. So pretty much most games, if you run at 45, it's like you might be able to tell a slight difference, but for the most part, it still runs very well. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, they added a lot of Sony games and Microsoft as well. Like you can play the Master Chief Collection, which I will show off next. You can play Sea of Thieves. On the Sony side, you've got, God of War, you have Spider-Man, you have Horizons. So the fact that a lot of the console exclusives are starting to cross over into PC is actually a really good time to buy one of these. It's kind of crazy to think about it, but for pretty much the first time in history, you have like an Xbox game, a Sony game, and PC games all on the same console. Now you just need Nintendo and everything is all set. So I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think Minecraft is on Steam, which is now technically a Microsoft game. But still, that's nothing as crazy as having like a Sony brand IP that started on Sony, where obviously Minecraft was bought, so it wasn't like created by Microsoft or anything. So it's crazy to see like, Halo and God of War, for instance, on the Steam Deck. All right, now moving on to the Master Chief Collection, we've got some Halo Reach gameplay here. As you can tell by looking at it, running at a very smooth 60 FPS. Wait, which button is it? Which one do I have assigned for that? Maybe I have the buttons mixed up. Oh, I don't know why that's on right bumper. That is definitely not correct. That is not the setting that I set. But yeah, anyway, as you can see, it is running very well. This one's probably still my favorite Halo game, so I figured I'd show this one off. And I think of the original, games that Bungie made, this was technically would be like the most visually demanding. So this would be, just a good one to show off here. But yeah, as you can see, it is running very smooth. Once again, a very crazy thing to have on the Steam Deck. What is like for decades now an Xbox exclusive, now you have on a handheld PC. It's crazy. That's been my experience with a lot of the games on here, is just whether they run like super well like this one, or whether they run with like a few changes here and there. Just the mere fact of being able to do it is the crazy part. All right, now for the most visually demanding game, as you would probably imagine that I would show on this list, is Cyberpunk 2077. Now, as you can see looking at it, it runs very well, given that it's on a handheld console, which is definitely one of the things that people have to keep in mind when they are talking about the Steam Deck, is that, first of all, this thing is $500, so even a $500 PC would have trouble running Cyberpunk. And once again, this is a handheld console. You can take it anywhere you go. It is not streaming. It is downloaded directly to the console. You can take this. I just went to go get an oil change, and I took it with me. I was just sitting in the lobby playing Cyberpunk while waiting for my oil change. So that's one thing that people definitely have to keep in mind when they're talking about the Steam Deck. Because there are times when you're going into certain city sectors where the frame rate would drop like just a little bit. But if you adjust the settings correctly, like the way that I have it, as you can see, even when you're moving pretty quickly, it runs very smoothly. And I must emphasize again, because it's a very important point, that this is a handheld console for $500. And that's not even the cheapest model. That's just the cheapest for the OLED. So if you wanted the LCD one, it might run slightly less, because I know they upgraded the screen, the RAM, and the battery. And you might see a little bit of flickering in the recording. That's because the game is running at 45 FPS and the camera is filming at 60. So there might be a slight flicker, but that's not in the game. Like, the game is running completely smoothly right now. You just might notice like a little flicker on the edges. The fact that you can run this on a handheld, just crazy. And even in like high tense situations, like during a fight or something like that, it might dip for a second down to like 40, maybe like 38. But again, it's very smooth for what it is. Like, imagine trying to run this on the Switch. It would not happen even on the lowest settings. Because I have a good mix between medium and high settings right now. Like, this isn't on low settings. I have it on medium and high. Like, you can see the light fixtures and all that. They're pretty detailed. It might be slightly out of focus at times because I keep trying to keep this camera, like, stabilized and keep the focus, but sometimes it just loses it. But just know that the display is 1,000 nits on brightness, and it's an OLED, so obviously it looks very pretty when you look at lights like that. Nope, I hear some shooting over here. I'm gonna go show some of the action. Hopefully the police don't think I'm an enemy. I'm gonna try to get around there. Yeah, the first time I played this game, I did the Sendeva stand and, like, used kind of agility things. But this one, I went more of a berserker, as you can see with my thing here, smash their head. I think this one's literally just called Berserker. I'm gonna rob these bodies. And of course, I'm using the Gorilla Fist, as you would imagine with this kind of playstyle. Yeah, as you can see, just showed off a little bit of the combat there. Runs very well. And once again, I'm using the back paddles. Amazing technology. Every controller should have them. So yeah, that's basically it for the games to show off, because this is pretty much the most demanding game that I own as far as, like, graphics and CPU and RAM, obviously. Pretty much everything, everything in the hardware. So if it can run this, I mean, at least for my library, this is like, sky's the limit. This is the one. If it can run this, it can run everything. All right, so that's it for now. I'll probably go more in depth when I do, like, a review on this thing, which I almost certainly will be doing. But just as it stands now, incredible. It is very good. Just, you know, out of the box. I've had it for probably 2.5, maybe 3 weeks now. I've got 31 games downloaded to it from my Steam library, which I'll just kind of show you here, just how many that I have versus how many are great on deck. See, I have 174 games, I have 31 installed, and 36 of them are great on deck. But the thing about this one is, you don't always have to follow this. Like, if you go over here to all games, you'll see some of them, like this one, where it's just flat out not supported. Or you have things like Deus Ex, where it has, like, the little information icon on there. Usually I've found when it says that, you can pretty much run it anyway. Like, I haven't tested Team Fortress 2, but you can see that one also has, like, the little eye icon on there, the little information thing, which just means that it's, like, partially playable, at least from what they've seen, like Dota as well. But some of those are pretty weird when they say that, because sometimes, like, I'll scroll over to, where is the Master Chief Collection? Yeah, you see the Master Chief Collection has the, like, questionably verified, but if you actually click on it and you go to game info, see, it says playable on there. And if you look at the details here, you can see it says, like, some in-game text is small and maybe difficult to read, which is really a non-issue from what I've seen while playing it. And then also above it, you see entering some text requires manually invoking the on-screen keyboard. For right now, the only time that's ever happened is just when I was, like, linking it to my Microsoft account. Outside of that, I've never had to do that. And then the one at the top there is also, again, just kind of like a non-issue. And like I showed you in the video, I was playing Halo Reach at 60 FPS. Everything looked fine. The icons on screen were very clearly legible. So a lot of times when you see that it says playable and not verified, that really doesn't mean anything. It usually means, like, there's one menu that is hard to read, and they're like, well, it's playable, it's not verified. It's kind of a weird system they have. So I would usually, if you see the playable icon, it means it pretty much runs perfectly. The only thing that gets it that designation is that it doesn't run, like, 100%. Everything is perfectly legible at all times. But usually that's good enough. If it says playable, it's good to go right out of the box. But yeah, aside from that, everything else, amazing. I mean, what else is there to say? The speakers work well. You know, you've got the exhaust fan on the top, which is funny when you're running some games like Cyberpunk. You can hear that baby cooking. It's not like you get super hot or anything, but the fan it sometimes does crank up when you're playing games like Cyberpunk. And it doesn't get too loud. Like, it's slightly louder than the Switch. And if you hold your hand above it, you can feel, like, air coming out up to here. So it definitely does a good job of keeping the heat off. Like, if you put your hand directly on the back there, you don't feel even a little bit of heat. So it does do a very good job at dissipating the heat off the actual Steam Deck. Yeah, that's it for now. I guess look forward to a review in the future, which definitely will be coming. Not really sure where it's going to land in the timeline, because I have a few videos that are already up and, you know, ready to go. So I guess we'll see what happens. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.